Let us continue with the events under fusion of gametes. There are four stages to discuss. The first two I have already discussed, that is acrosomal reaction and the sperm entry in the previous video. So what happens in the ovum once the sperm has entered? Here, there's a reaction that takes place into the cortex of ovum and we call it as the cortical reaction. Let's see in the diagram. There are some granules in the cortex region and we call it as cortical granules. They are present below the plasma membrane of the egg. They fuse with the plasma membrane and release their enzymes which accumulate between the plasma membrane and the zona pellucida. Right? This eventually causes the hardening of the transparent zona pellucida. Why this hardening? This hardening is done further so as to prevent the entry of further sperms. So one sperm enters, that means the other sperms will not be allowed by the hardening of this zona pellucida, which is brought by the fusion of certain cortical granules. Next stage is the activation of egg. Right? So here we have discussed the fusion of cortical granules with the plasma membrane, release of enzymes, hardening of zona pellucida, and further entry stopped. The last step under fusion is activation of egg. The entry of sperm evokes a chemical signal in the egg cytoplasm, and this causes four things to occur. First, fertilization membrane which is formed around the egg. Why is it formed? This prevents the further entry of sperm into the egg. Second is incapacitation of sperms. Remember, the term capacitation means activation of sperm. So the other sperms, they need not be active now, so they are incapacitated. Third, dispersal of follicle cells around the fertilized ovum. And finally, the completion of second meiotic division. So in the process of oogenesis, there was a meiotic division which was still pending for the sperm to enter. So because the sperm has entered, right, there has already been cortical reaction over. Now in the activation of egg, this nuclear division by meiosis will be completed finally, right? The last step in fertilization is amphimixis or karyogamy. Gamy means marriage and karyon means nucleus, right? So here we can say the fusion of male and female pronuclei restores the normal original diploid number of the chromosomes. We saw that the ovum is haploid and the sperm is haploid. So because of karyogamy, the 2N or the diploid zygotic nucleus is restored. This also brings about intermingling of paternal and maternal chromosomes, and this results eventually in the variations, right? So we can say thus that the resulting offspring receives both paternal and the maternal characteristics. The sperm nucleus moves towards the egg nucleus. We can see here the sperm nucleus is moving towards the egg nucleus by definite copulation path, and this brings about the intermingling of chromosomes of both the parents by amphimixis or karyogamy. So this completes the process of fertilization from the beginning. Now let us see, we have completed all 5 steps. There were 5 things in the events of fertilization process. In the previous video and this one, we are completing the topic of fertilization. The stages were 5 in number. Insemination. The second is movement of the sperm. The third is arrival of ovum. The fourth is capacitation or activation of sperms. The fifth is fusion of gametes with 4 changes here, right? Acrosomal reaction, sperm entry, cortical reaction, and the activation of egg. And the sixth and last is the amphimixis or the karyogamy. Now, once the karyogamy is over, let us also just quickly discuss about the sex of the baby that is to be formed. Now, this is determined at the time of fertilization itself. We know that the females are homogametic. That females, there are chromosomes of only one type. We know it. This is 22 plus X, right? We are calling females as homogametic. But the males are heterogametic. Hetero means there are different type of gametes. 22 plus X and 22 plus Y, these are produced in sperms and the proportion is equal. The zygote which will be formed here, right? How do we know whether it would be a girl child or a boy child? The only fact is that if the zygote carries 44 plus X, see the diploid number is restored by these haploid 22 plus X and 22 plus X if fuses. So haploid and haploid fuse to give the diploid 44 plus XX. This would be the girl child. And here if it is restored with the chromosomal unit Y or 44 plus XY, remember this will be a son. So this is how the gender or the sex of the baby is determined. So this is all for the fertilization topic, children. The next topic would be the development of embryo in the next video. Till now, here I have done in 2 videos, I have completed some 2.5 pages. I am sending you to write. So first page, second page, and this half page. So please write down your notes, make up and read the textbook, pages 120, 119. Here it starts here, 120, 121, and just the beginning of 122. So that's all for just now, children. In the next video, we'll start with the embryo development. Thank you.